Hey guys, this is Eddie the Magic Monk. Welcome to the tutorial on how to make a cool website. And as you guys know, recently I've been making my own website with all my video tutorials and other resources. And since then, I've been approached by other people to make websites for them. So I thought I'd make a tutorial on how to make a simple website in the fastest way possible so that anyone can make their own website and put it on the internet. So the first thing I will show you is what I mean by making a simple website. So if you have a look at this website here, which is what I made for my brother, it has a simple domain name which I'll teach you how to register. So you just type in resolvepodiatry.com.au. You just type that in your web browser, press enter, and then it brings up my brother's podiatry website and a bit of information about where it's located, link to Google Maps, and just a simple website with 3 pages and a little HTML form that you can type in to make an appointment or something like that. So a simple website like this doesn't take very long to make, and I've also made a little presentation in Prezi to illustrate the steps to you. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is talk about what type of computer you need to build a website. I would suggest that you have a pretty decent computer, maybe at least 4 GB of RAM and an Intel i3 CPU or better with at least 500 GB of hard drive space. And the reason I say that is because you'll be running some pretty demanding applications, and you'll be running multiple applications at once simultaneously, so you probably don't want a cheap computer that's going to slow you down a bit. I would suggest that you also get 2 monitors, because you'll have 2 applications open pretty much the entire time, and you don't really want to waste time switching between different applications if you can just look at them at the same time, which is better with 2 monitors. The type of internet connection you need, I would suggest that you have at least an ADSL connection with at least 1.5 megabit downloads, because it's going to be hard for you to try and build a website from a dial-up connection, for example. It's just going to be too slow. You'll be accessing the internet pretty much the whole time, downloading stuff, uploading stuff. So it's going to be better for you if you have a decent internet connection. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is registering a domain name. So if you want to take building your website seriously, you should have a proper domain name. Now, if it's just a personal website that you're only going to let your friends have a look, then you probably should just use Facebook or MySpace for that. Whereas if you want to build a website that's going to be based on a business or based on educational purposes, where you're going to have a wide audience, then a domain name is a pretty good investment. Now, if you register a domain name, that will usually cost around $15 a year. So just beware of that financial commitment if you want to buy a domain name. Now, where would you buy a domain name? Well, a good website for that is www.namecheap.com. Now, domain name usually cost about $15 a year, and So if you search for your domain name here, let's say you want to create a domain called hello.com. Now, it's probably taken already, but let's have a look. So click the search button to see whether that domain name is taken. So it's searching right now. And as you can see, hello.com is already taken. So the only one that's not taken is hello.pw, and that costs $500. So I would suggest, and all of these ones are not taken. Hello.me, hello.ca, hello.tv, and hello.net.au. So if you want to register a domain name, you would click this button, obviously. So let's try hello.in. Let's check now. Oh, it's taken. Right. Now let's try a more unique name. So www.mynameised.com. Now that definitely should not be taken. Oh, my name is Ed is actually taken, but my name is ed.net is not taken, and it's available at $11.48 a year. So if you want to buy that, then you can just click that and click add to cart, and then you're just gonna keep going to buy the domain name. Okay, next. The next thing you want to do is apply for a web hosting service. Now, a web hosting service just means where are you going to store your files on the internet. Now, obviously, you're not going to store them on your local hard drive, because if you store it on your computer, then whenever someone wants to access your website, they need to come all the way to your computer to get the files, and your internet connection is probably pretty slow if you want a visitor from, let's say, Egypt or Korea or something like that go to your website. So what happens is you need to hire a space from a server that has a really fast connection, and so that space, that server is going to be connected to the domain name that you've just registered, and that is usually a pretty simple process, and your web hosting service will tell you how to do that. And web hosting usually costs about $5 a month, depending on your requirements. Now, the requirements include how much storage space and how much bandwidth, which is how much you want people to download per month. Now, if you're just starting out with your website, then you probably don't need a lot of space, and you can always upgrade them, or you should be able to upgrade them later once you start needing more space. But usually websites, if you're building a website, you don't need to upload too many files to your server, because let's say you want to have videos on your website, you can use YouTube for that. Or if you have a particularly large file, then you can just put that in your Dropbox or Google Drive and share it via that. So I would say web hosting, you probably wouldn't need anything more than, let's say, 5 gigabytes to start with. So let's have a look at the web hosting that Namecheap offers. So if you go to namecheap.com and you click on web hosting, then it comes up with all of these plans that you can use, and for $3.48 a month you can get unlimited bandwidth, which means you can get as many people downloading stuff from your website as you want, and you get 25 gigabytes of disk space, which is a lot. So this is a pretty good plan. You can get it for 1 year at $47.80. And if you order your domain name from Namecheap and you get your web hosting from them as well, then I guess it'll be pretty easy to connect. If you got your web hosting from somewhere else, then you'll probably need to log into Namecheap and change a few settings, which I'll show you right now. So once you log in, you get all of this information. You've got the number of domains in your account, and you're going to click that to view your domain names. And as you can see, I currently have 2 domain names. So click on one of them that you want to edit, and once you're in the domain name, you want to click on domain name server setup. And this is where you're going to enter the information that you need in order to connect your hosting service to your domain name. So your hosting service will have their own address that you need to enter in here, and you need to get the server name from your web hosting service. So they should be able to tell you what you want to enter in these 2 boxes here in order for your domain name to be connected to your web hosting service. Now, if you're using the hosting service from Namecheap as well, then you can just click the top option here that says use Namecheap hosting DNS servers, and what will happen is it'll automatically enter in the DNS service for the Namecheap hosting service, and you can just click that, click save changes, and it will point your domain name to the Namecheap hosting server, and that should connect them. Okay, let's continue with our presentation. The next thing you want to do is install a web page editor. Now, I would suggest getting Dreamweaver, and the reason is because it's the industry standard for making web pages, and all the professional, well, I wouldn't say all, but most of the professional web designers will tell you that Dreamweaver is the application that they use to make websites, and it's mainly because it has the most number of features. It can pretty much do everything from editing your website in code, or using a what you see is what you get editor, which means that you can pretty much edit your page just like Microsoft Word. You can add pictures or change a font just from clicking menus instead of understanding any coding for websites. And it'll also upload your files to the internet, to your web host for you, so you don't have to upload your files using a separate program, which is pretty useful. So to download Dreamweaver, you should go to creative.adobe.com/products/Dreamweaver, or you can probably just Google Dreamweaver, and you can download a trial for free. And I don't have this version, but I'm guessing all versions are pretty similar, so I'm just gonna teach you how to use it with my version. Okay, next, you should probably find a website template before you even start building your website. And the reason for that is because it'll be pretty difficult if you want to start building a website from scratch. You need to think about all the design elements, the coding, where to put the title, where to type your words. There's a lot of things that you need to figure out. So I would suggest finding a website template on the internet that you can just download and use. And the best one Well, the one I would suggest that you use is probably freedreamweavertemplates.org. Now, because these templates are free, you probably will not get a very sophisticated template that's suitable to whatever it is you want to use it for. If you're planning to build a very sophisticated website, but these are some very general templates that it's pretty good for a general website. So for example, you click on one of them, click preview, and this will show you what your website is going to look like, which is pretty good if you want to have a main picture, some links on the side, and some articles in the middle. Now, the template that I have chosen for my brother's podiatry website was on page 4, and it was the Earthling 2 template. And if we preview that, you can see this is pretty much the same as my brother's website, except I changed some of the pictures and changed the text that's on the page. And I'll show you guys how to do that. But firstly, you need to save that template. So you need to click download, and you need to save that template somewhere on your hard drive. And as you can see, it's a zip file that you've just downloaded. And these are the contents of that zip file. So make sure you copy and paste these files into a folder with a location that you're going to remember. So for example, you could create a folder within my documents called my website and put these files in there, which is what we'll do now. So you can see I've just created a folder in my documents called my website, and I've copy and pasted these files in there. So now that we've done everything on this slide for finding the template, let's go on to the next slide, which was set up your website in Dreamweaver to use the folder of your template as your website. So this is the Dreamweaver program. Click on the down arrow next to the search box in the title bar and change the view of the panels to the classic layout. And that way you will end up with a screen that looks like what I have on my program. Otherwise, if you switch to other layouts, it'll look quite different. So click on the classic layout and then continue. And the first thing we want to do is set up the website to point to the folder of your template. So click on Site and then click on Manage Sites, and you'll probably see nothing in this menu here if you don't have a website already. And then you're going to click New, and then here you're going to put in a name for your website, and then the local site folder is where you browse and pick the My Website folder that we've just created. So you can see that it's now pointing to the folder that I created to put the template in, and the site name, I'm just going to call it My Website. And you're going to click Save, and you're going to click Done. And now you will see on the bottom right hand corner, it's got the files from your website have just popped up. And that means you have successfully set up Dreamweaver to locate the template as your website. Next slide. Edit your template in Dreamweaver to suit the purpose of your website. You may need to learn some HTML to make the editing easier. Okay, so let's go back to Dreamweaver. Now, let's maximize the window here so we can get a better view of the program. And you will see that on the bottom right hand corner we have index.html. So let's double click on that, and you will see that Dreamweaver has already divided up the program into two views for us. One view is what the web page looks like from design view, and another view is the coding. Now, given that you probably don't know any HTML coding, let's make the window a bit smaller for the coding, and let's just edit the text on this page. And all you have to do is, for example, highlight the text and change it to whatever title you want. So let's change the names here, and let's just basically write over everything that's already there with the purpose of your website. So I've just typed that in, and basically you just rewrite it with whatever you're making the website for, and just type all over this. I'm making this web page as a tutorial for YouTube. And yeah, now it's all pretty simple if you just want to keep the same layout. Now let's say I want to change the picture here, and actually we're going to talk about pictures in a second, so let's just leave that. But let's say I want to create a link, then you can simply just highlight whatever you want to create a link for, and you can type the link here. So I'm going to link this to YouTube, and so I've just created a link. Now if you want to see what this website looks like in your browser, then you can just click this preview icon and choose preview in Chrome. And once you click that, it'll just show up with your website in your browser, and you can see that I have just made a link. I'm making this web page as a tutorial for YouTube. Click the YouTube link and you'll see that it brings you to YouTube. So the next thing we're going to talk about is how to add some pictures or changing the pictures, which brings us to our next slide. Find free pictures. Now if you want pictures for your website, unfortunately most pictures on the internet are copyrighted, which means that you can't just put them on your website without getting permission from the owner of the picture, and that becomes quite tricky. However, there is a website that you can get pictures which you can insert to your web page for free if you simply reference the author of the picture. So go to this website here, and then you can simply go to so we're currently looking at Creative Commons. So you can see that there are 55 million pictures that you can download. So click see more, and then all of these pictures are pictures that you can put on your website if you reference where you got it from. So let's search for example magic. And you can see that there are all these pictures that have just come up based on the search magic. And let's say we want to replace the picture that's currently on our website with let's say this picture. So I'm going to click on that, and you can see that this is the picture, and we're going to click on these three circles on the bottom right, view all sizes, and you're going to download this picture. Let's say I'm going to download this one right here. So you click download the large 1024 size of this photo, and then that'll download the picture. However, I'm gonna just download a smaller version, I think, so it's small 240, and then you can just click download and it'll save the picture. Make sure you copy and paste this picture into the folder where your website is. So this is the location of my website, and I'm gonna paste my picture here, and I'm going to change the name of the picture to first pic, or actually I'm just going to call it pinkhouse.jpg. And then to insert this picture onto the website, we're back in Dreamweaver now, and what you want to do is on the bottom right hand corner where it's showing the files of your website, you're going to click on refresh, and then the pink house picture is going to show up. By the way, I should have mentioned this earlier, but if you have a different layout of Dreamweaver, then you should switch to the classic layout, which is what I'm on, so you'll have the same layout. Okay, now what you're going to do is drag the picture from the bottom right hand corner, this file, onto somewhere on your page. So let's say I want to insert the picture here, then I'm just going to drag it on right there, and it's going to show up with this window. Just click OK and the picture shows up there. Now let's say I want to replace this picture with my picture. Then if you click on this picture here where it says source src, you can just change the file name to the name of our picture, or you can just drag the point to file icon and point to our new picture here, and that's going to show up with our new picture. Now you'll notice that this picture is not really suited for this box, right? Because this is a wide box and our picture is more closer to a square. Now notice as you click on the picture, inside the properties panel there's an icon next to edit with PS in it, and that's Photoshop. So if you click on that, that'll actually open up Photoshop to edit this picture straight away. So click on that and it brings up this picture in Photoshop, and all you have to do is choose the rectangular select tool and select a section of the picture that fits that frame a bit better, and then you're gonna click image crop, and it's gonna crop that picture. And if you save it, and then if you close Photoshop and go back to your website, and if you just do something, press Ctrl S to save the page again, it'll update the picture with the new size. You can just spend a bit of time dragging the picture to fiddle around with it until you get the one that fits your current size. Okay, so that's how you insert pictures, and now let's continue with our presentation. So the next thing we want to do is set up Dreamweaver so that it can connect to our web host. And once it's connected, you can very easily upload the files to your web host. So back in Dreamweaver, as you can see, we've previously already set up the website. And what you want to do is click on this down arrow here, manage sites, and under my website, go to edit, and then go to servers, and here is where you select the server that will host your pages. So click this add button here, add new server, and this is where you put in the FTP server settings for your website. So obviously I don't have the FTP server details of your hosting service, but it should look something like this: FTP dot whatever the name of your website is. Let's say it's called mynameised.com or .net or whatever it is. So it'll just be FTP dot whatever your website is. Put in your username, so whatever username it is, put in your password, and the root directory is where your website, where your index.html is going to be stored on your website. So usually the folder for that is public_html, but that could change depending on your server settings. So once you click save, and then you click save again, and then what's going to happen is if you highlight your files and click put files to FTP server, then that's going to upload the files onto the internet for you, and then you should be able to view them on the internet by just typing your name of your website in the web browser. So if you just type in my name is whatever it is you want .net, and then it should show up with your website. Okay, so that is the end of our tutorial. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. I'll give you a link to the Prezi and my brother's website and Namecheap and all that stuff on in the description section of this video. So hope you like this video. Make sure you click subscribe and visit my website magicmonktutorials.com. Thanks guys, see you next time.